Well, hello again, everyone. It's your man, Cowboy Star. By God, I'm not in a good mood. The Cowboys blew it yesterday. Unbelievable. I don't know why it is, but we just seem to the Cowboys can't beat the Cardinals, man. This is 7 out of 8 times we've been there, played the Cardinals, we've lost for a myriad of reasons and all bizarre reasons. But yesterday was just a good old fashioned ass whipping. But gonna talk about my frustrations with the Cowboys yesterday after playing so good the first two games, outscoring the opponent 70-10. The Cowboys decided they could just roll out there, show up, roll their helmets across the field, and just beat the Cardinals before they even got on the field. Uh, NFL's not like that. You got to prepare for every single team because any given day you can be beaten and outplayed, outcoached, which the Cowboys, all three of those happened. Uh, First thing I'm going to talk about was the defense. And this one really surprised me because um, Dan Quinn is usually on top of it. Uh, I know we lost Diggs out for the season with the knee torn ACL, and I know that probably weighed on a lot of the players' minds, but man, you can't let that bother you. This was an opponent you should have won. You should have beat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Cardinals were 0-2, and there's no reason why the Cowboys should have lost to them. But like I said, it can happen. It can happen. A letdown can happen. And the Cardinals, in all due respect to them, they played a hell of a game. They out schemed us, they out coached us, and they outplayed us in this game. They ran the ball right down our throats. Micah Parsons was a non-factor in this game. They ran the ball straight at him. They didn't try to run around him, which now the Cardinals have created a blueprint that every team is going to do what they did to us. They're going to try us. They're going to see if we make adjustments and we stop the run. And I just hope and pray that we do next week against New England because they come to AT&T Stadium next week with Zeke Elliott, who had 80 yards rushing in the game this past week. And I know Zeke is chomping at the bit to come up here and have a big game and show the Cowboys that they made a big mistake letting him go. And it would serve them right if it does happen. I'm hoping that they make the adjustments. But we just were out of position. Our gap integrity wasn't right in this game. Our defensive backs weren't covering the receivers. It was just, you name it, on defense, it happened in this game. We didn't get any turnovers. We had no special teams. Well, we almost had a special team play, but they called it back. Guess why? That's the next topic I'm fixing to talk about. Penalties. They're back to the penalties game again, just like last year. Anywhere from 10 to 15 penalties a game. You can't win like that, folks. You cannot win a game like that in the NFL. It's just not going to happen. We shot ourselves in the foot. Every time we made a good play, it was called back because of holding or offsides, some kind of pre-snap penalty. I just hope we don't get back in that in that mode that we were last year where we were just making all these damn penalties. because it's not going to end well for the Cowboys if they keep this type of play up. Now, the next thing I want to go over is the play calling in the red zone, especially. The Cowboys got in the red zone 5 times, only scored 1 touchdown, kicked 3 field goals, and one time we went for it on 4th down and didn't make it. So that is not acceptable. You know, you get in the red zone, you've got to push that ball in the end zone. I know it gets harder because there's less real estate to deal with, but you got to come up with the right plays. And Dak needs to run the ball when we get closer to the end zone. I don't know why he got away from that in his rookie year. He was scored so many touchdowns on the goal line, it was unreal. I don't know if he's still got that in his mind about his injury or whatever, but he did have one good run in the game, and he looked fine. I mean, he looked like the old Dak running the ball. But why we don't do that option plays that we used to run on the goal line, where he either gives it to the back or he fakes it, giving it to him, and then runs around the end, or fakes it and passes it, or whatever. But we got to get a little more creative in the red zone, because those plays, and why in the world we were running the ball, we were down by 2 scores, 3 minutes left in the game, and McCarthy's calling running plays when we're in the red zone. I mean, that's stupidity. How in the hell are you just running more time off the clock? What are you gonna do? Hope and pray that you get a touchdown, which they didn't, and then do an onside kick, which the odds of recovering that is astronomically against you. No, that was just, I don't know what he was thinking in that instance when he was running the ball with 3 minutes left. I was like, oh, I was livid, man. That was unacceptable. And there were several calls. Of course, you can't blame it on the refs, and I'm not one to do that, but that call in the end zone to MG, that was interference, my friends, and they did not call that. Dak underthrew the ball, though. He would have had an easy touchdown if he just put some more on the ball, because MG had him beat, but he underthrew the ball, and that's a wrap. That was a wrap right there. The Cowboys, I knew when he didn't get that call that it was the ball game. So, and the last thing that really ticked me off was Dak getting back to the old Dak and throwing into triple coverage there at the end to end the game. I saw 3 red shirts, and when he in his press conference, he goes, "Oh, I got to try to get it over him." No, there's no way you could have thrown it anywhere towards the receiver at that point. There were 3 Cardinals there, and you threw that one right in his face mask. I mean, if he didn't catch it, the 2 other Cardinals that were standing on either side of the receiver would have. So, Dak, no, you just F that up. That was all on you, Dak. And I'm not a Dak hater. I love Dak. I don't think Dak has the he's not a one top 5 quarterback in my estimation in the league, but he does. I think he could get us to a Super Bowl if he just quit making these bonehead interceptions. But I waited to get on here and do this video because I was so upset after the game. I couldn't do it. I would have said some shit I didn't want to say. So that's pretty much what happened in the game, why we lost. We ran all up and down the field. We had more yardage than they did. We just didn't score for some reason. We didn't score, and our defense, they just ran at will on us, man. They snuck this little fast guy in the backfield, number 4. I don't remember what his name was for the Cardinals. They snuck him in there, and they ran a draw play. I mean, there was a hole so wide, I could have ran through that hole. And he scampered for probably 30 yards on that one, 36 yards, I believe it was, almost to the house. And our defensive backs were just all off. They weren't in sync. They were not knowing what the other one was going to do, and caused a lot of big plays in the game. So, man, we got a lot to clean up in this game before we get to the next game against New England. It's at Cowboys Stadium, as I said, AT&T Stadium Sunday. The Cowboys need to regroup and get their shit together. Excuse my French, but there's no other way to sugarcoat that game. It was just a total letdown, total debacle for the Cowboys. I'm hoping that the Cowboys can at least score in the red zone this time. And Mike McCarthy needs to come up with some plays, man, on the goal line for red zone. Because right now, the plays that he has ain't working. They're not working. It seems like when we get in the red zone, he'll run it the first time, and they stuff us, or we lose a couple of yards. Then he tries to run it again, and we might get 3 or 4 yards. Well, then it's third down and say 5 to get a touchdown. Well, you got to have a good play to get a touchdown 5 yards out on the goal line against most defenses in the NFL. And the Cowboys, they're just throwing it up for grabs, and it's getting intercepted is what it amounts to. So there's no deception going on. It seemed like the Cardinals knew exactly what we were going to do when we did it. Dak had a few good pass throws, but wasn't enough. The Cowboys lost 28-16. Could have been different. I kind of questioned it when he went for it on third down. On the goal line there on one of them, we didn't make it. I hate to just keep kicking field goals, but we'd have been a lot closer if we'd have got those 2 field goals that we didn't kick. And it would have been like 28-23, and all we'd have needed is a touchdown instead of 2 scores. But it's neither here nor there. It's too late to cry over spilt milk. All we can do is chalk that one up and learn from it and go on to the New England Patriots. With that being said, I do appreciate all of you that have subscribed to the channel. I'm trying to grow this thing a little bit. Please subscribe to the channel. Try to get the best content I can to you guys out there. With that being said, we'll catch you next time. I'm out.